Hey! Good morning, people! I'm here on my own, all because Kathleen is away. So I'm doing some unsupervised smooching today. First off, I'm going to be playing a game called bookSLEEPer, which looks like it was like a NaNoWriMo or something like that game worked on by a group. Maybe the about page. Maybe there's an about page. I don't think there's an about page. But here, I'll show it to you. And it has nice tunes or something. It is extras. Yeah, so it's not a full game release. It is just what we are going to see here today. I need to pull up my notifications. Photon Graph. Subscribed for 13 months in a row. Missed Friday 13th by a week. Close enough. Would have been good. Would have been good. Still good. Would have been great. Alright. I'm gonna start a new game. My name is... Coriander. No. Capital. I was holding shift, I swear. There we go. I know my own name. Welcome to bookSLEEPer. You are currently playing the demo version. This game features 4 routes. The microbiology route is complete. Alright, so let's do microbiology. And by do, I mean try to do that route, not have sex with the concept of microbiology. Early on Saturday morning, as I am enjoying the warmth and comfort of my bed, a pillow flies across the length of the room and lands squarely on my face. Floop! Coriander, get up! I groan and pull my blanket over my face. I hear the patter of Briss's slippers as she makes her way to the side of my bed. Before I can react, she yanks away my blanket, leaving me shivering in only my pajamas. Meh. Briss! That's my voice. Rise and shine, sleeping beauty. This is Vibrissa, my close friend and roommate. Two of us have known one another since high school, and it was natural that we would choose to live together after we decided to attend the same university. But as much as I love her, I cannot understand how or why she wakes up so early on weekends. I sit up in my bed defeatedly. At least let me sleep on a Saturday. Don't worry, I'll leave you to your sleep soon. I just wanted to ask a little favor. Favor? Going over to my boyfriend's this week. You know how he is. Can you take care of Madame Purbury 3 for me, please? I almost forgot that Bryce usually studies with her boyfriend, Casper, a ghost, as they are both physics majors and ghosts. Ah, Skipper Dan 21 subscribed for 2 months in a row. 2 months! Just dropping in to say, I'm so glad I get to support Lure now before I get back to work. Thank you for your support. And for dropping in. As much as Briss loves both her boyfriend and her cat, she cannot take Madame Purbury 3 to visit Casper because he is severely allergic to cats, and they can sense the dead. As I contemplate my options, Madame Purbury 3 leaps into my bed. Meow. Meow. Aw, you little sweetheart. You want Coriander to take care of you, don't you? Don't distract me. I'm still considering. Briss probably means that she will be away for all of reading week, which is the next 9 days. If I agree to take care of Madame Purbury 3, then I will have to have her for the entirety of reading week. Sounds like a win. Madame Purbury 3 is a strange cat who seems to do things on whim, so I cannot estimate how much time I would need to dedicate to taking care of her. Regardless of whether I agree to help Briss with her cat, I will likely spend a good amount of time studying this week. I'm an undeclared student, and I am taking 1 course each in English, microbiology, photography, and philosophy. It's a good spread. It's a rather bizarre mix, and I am absolutely unprepared for each subject final, especially since all 4 finals are on the same day. Like hell. I groan internally as I think about how much studying I'd have to do to pass each final. I consider the more pressing choice at hand. I can either take time out of studying to take care of Briss's cat, or I can focus on my studying and let someone else take care of her. Will I take care of Madame Perbury 3? Yes. I love the snugs. Decide that the best course of action is to take care of Madame Perbury 3, regardless of the amount of studying I have to do. Okay, I guess I will help take care of her. You will? Thanks so much, Coriander. You are truly my best friend. We do live together, you know. Now remind me how to care for this cat of yours. Oh, about that. Briss spends the next half hour talking about Madame Perbury. And that's it! Oh, okay. You'll be fine. If you have any questions, you can always text me. Make sure to send me lots of pictures of her, okay? That sounds like every cat owner that I have cat sat for. They always want the pics. I'll be going now. Thanks again, Coriander. Briss grabs her suitcase and exits the room, only pausing to wave at Madame Perbury 3 and me. Guess it's just you and me, Madame Perbury 3. Since I'm awake, I might as well start studying. Meow. As I attempt to roll out of bed, Madame Perbury jumps into my lap and curls up. Guess I won't be studying. I end up petting Madame Perbury for nearly the entire day. Wow. That cat's got some staying power. When day turns to night, I finally manage to free myself from Madame Perbury. I only have a few hours before my usual bedtime, but it's maybe enough time to get something done. Which textbook will I study before going to bed? I'm gonna do the microbiology. I pick up Fundamentals of Microbiology and Immunology, 4th edition, and begin flipping through its pages. I read a few paragraphs from the pages I flipped to and realize that I barely understand any of the scientific terminology. That's not good. That's not a really good place to be during, like, reading week to study for the finals. So, Louis Pasteur was a scientist who did something or other. Something about gross germs, I think. I feel like I should know this. I put the book down for a moment and try to remember what accomplishments were associated with which famous scientists. As soon as the book is out of my hands, my eyelids slam shut. I sink into my blankets and fall asleep. Just like, BAM! Horizontal. The team hopes we enjoy this. Wah! Shake my head to clear the cobwebs and look around me. What is this? Where am I? I look around me and see beakers and test tubes everywhere. I'm in a lab, but not any of the ones I've had classes in. Doesn't look like college labs at all. Did I stumble into someone's research lab? Anyway, I definitely shouldn't be here. I turn around to look for a door and leave when I spot a strange woman. Oh! Who are you? I stall, trying to think of an excuse. You should not be here! I know. We have important work to do! I throw up my hands. I know, jeez! Mary, where are your notes about the Spallanzani experiment? You really shouldn't be here. I said, where did you put those notes? Oh! Mary, who's this? Not a student, surely. That's precisely what I'm trying to find out. The man turns and fixes me with a very intimidating stare. I recognize him instantly from the photograph in my textbooks, even though moments ago I did not know anything about. You're Louis Pasteur. Yes, I know that already. I'm trying to establish who you are. My name is Coriander. I'm a student. think I would have heard such a thing. That as it may be, you are still in my way. Mary, take the girls out for the day. The caterpillars need more food. Of course. Marie grabs me suddenly by the shoulder and steers me out the door. That was odd. You'll have to forgive my husband. You know how geniuses are. I don't, actually. His work is very important. His work on silkworms? Sericulture is vital to the economy of LA. Right. The germ theory has far-reaching implications. There's so much more to it than preventing wine from going sour. Hey, Patient Zero! Subscribe for 8 months in a row. Thank you. We're learning a lot. G-Dwarf, it hasn't said that this is Mary Curie. I don't know why she would be in the microbiology, considering her field was like physics. Once Dr. Lister has published. But do you know anything of the sciences at all? Excuse me? As you claim to recognize my husband, you must be familiar with his body of work. Of course. Didn't he do that experiment in the glass bottle with the twisted neck? Sounds very good. Very good. He won an award from the Academy de Science for that experiment. Right. Germ theory. Exactly. I'm so going to fail my exam. Not if you apply yourself. We reach a stand of trees with broad green leaves, and Marie plops down the basket in her hand. That basket needs to be full of leaves before we go back. Collect them all! What? Why? What for? So many questions, so little work. Isn't asking questions what makes a good scientist? That's part of it. The rest is, as I said, mostly hard work. Today that means filling this basket with leaves from those trees. What kind of tree is that? White mulberry. Their leaves are the only thing silkworm caterpillars will eat. I knew it! Yay me! You take care of the silkworms? I'm glad to help my husband with his research. His work would go much more slowly without my help. But do you really like doing this? The worms are kind of gross. Why don't I like worms? Science is usually gross. So true. Truer words were never spoken. Marie sighs and shakes her head at me. I'm very proud of Louis and his work. He's been very successful in his publishing, especially considering his age. His work will go down in history. I know that. But she hasn't. She hasn't read books like I have. Like I'm supposed to have. Shake my head and get back to work. Surprisingly pleasant climbing the trees and stripping the leaves off the young green branches and not dying due to fall damage. Even if it is just a weird dream. The dense trees give the air a thick, gooey smell of greenery. And Marie smiles at me as we work. Oh, she's helping. Okay, good. I thought she was just like standing there judging. Something soothing about it. And I wake up in a much better mood than I was when I fell asleep. I'm starting to understand some of these scientific concepts, but I still need to study it a lot more. Just kind of wake up talking to myself. It's like narrating the dream the entire time. It is now morning. Today is day 2 of reading week. I have 8 more days to prepare for my finals. I feel less stressed than I expect, but that's not a bad thing. What do I do for a few hours? Oh, study, write fan fiction, visit the library, take photos, think about life, play with Madame Herbury 3, surf the internet. Like, I didn't get a lot of studying done. Maybe I should visit the lab? Yeah, I want to see what visit the lab do. Take a study break by visiting the school laboratory. I noticed a girl working on some experiment or other. I observed her at work for a while and note how she is handling the bacteriology equipment. Like a creepy stalker. Girl looks a lot like Briss, actually. I wonder if it's her sister, Teresa. You don't know your best friend's sister? I feel like I have a slightly better understanding of microbiology now. It is now the afternoon, I say to myself, as I march home from the lab. I feel less stressed than I would expect, but it's not a bad thing. I'm gonna write fan fiction. I write a one-shot about my favorite BB pairings. One shot gets a tad steamy near the end, but that's to appease my inner fangirl. I feel like I know a bit more about literature now. I actually don't know what capital B, X capital B would be. Like, like in my understanding, like, if it was boys, it would be BL. But, you know. Crazy Zoni, Briss is our roommate. She left her cat with us while she went to go study with her boyfriend for reading week. Though I still haven't looked at the play I was supposed to read for English. As intimidating as Shakespearean literature may seem, I should probably either read The Taming of the Shrew or spend a good few nights sleeping on it. I don't know if I want to have Taming of the Shrew dreams. It is now evening. I feel less stressed than I'd expect, but that's not a bad thing. I guess I'd play with the cat. I have neglected the cat all day. Can I go to the lab at night? That seems weird. Like, I don't have any projects that I'm working on. I'm just going to the lab to observe people. Yeah, cat time. Sit down next to Madame Herbury and begin stroking her. Meow. That's a pleased purr, right? Meow. Madame Herbury moves away from my hand and sits down beyond my reach. Good call, cat. I guess not. Despite the obvious rejection, I feel somewhat less stressed. Yep, doing a whole lot to help with my stress. It is now night. Last night, I somehow dreamed about past years after falling asleep in my microbiology textbook. I wonder if I can dream about another textbook by sleeping on it. Ah, so I don't get to do 2 in a row. What's Demian? What were my options for classes? Philosophy? Maybe I should check that one out. Oak Tree, we're an undeclared uni student. So, broad. Yeah, I'm gonna go philosophy. Haha! Only the first 4 nights are included in the game, so I don't even get the options of stuff that isn't finished yet. So later on it'll be... Whoa! That's a lot of words! But later on, it probably cut for my options, so doing it now is better. Whoa! My peaceful sleep is disturbed by a continuous poking on my shoulder. Didn't Briss say she'd come back after the finals? No, I'm not supposed to be sleeping when finals are close, but I can't have at least 10 more minute naps. 10 more minutes? Have a 10-minute nap? Nap time. Huh. Unknown one. Hey, do you think she's dead? Wait, since when did Briss's voice turn tiny? How do I do a tiny voice? Asanius, Demian, the story of Emil Sinclair's youth as Bildun's Roman by Ermin S. Oh, is the egg speech from Damien? Interesting. Interesting. Alright. I don't know how to do a tiny voice. I don't know if Unknown 2 has a tiny voice as well. You know by looking at her chest! Wait, what? And how am I supposed to look at? There's nothing here! Excuse me now for not having huge water balloons like... How are you? In front of me are two boys. One looking like he's about to cry, the other wearing a poker face. Yeah. Oh no, 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 please don't! I'm sorry, please don't cry. I thought you were my friend. Please don't cry. Here, have some candy. I always sleep with candy. Quickly take out a piece of candy I have in reserve in my pocket. He's about to take it when the other kid stops him. Sinclair! Weren't you taught not to accept gifts from strangers? He pauses before looking at me again. Especially badly dressed ones. But she doesn't seem like someone who would harm anyone. He takes a good look at me innocently. However, she does dress rather oddly. A woman wearing pants? It's completely unheard of. No, it isn't. You do know that I'm still here. Don't be fooled. What she's doing is bribery. It's your silence over a piece of candy. People like her are cunning and will eventually take advantage of you. Look here, you brat. First you insult my lack of womanly attribute, and now you're saying that some sort of con artist? Who do you think you are to judge me so easily? Max Damien. I'm this lad's acquaintance since he doesn't know who to choose as company. You don't say. Damien and I end up having a glaring competition, putting the other boy in an unfortunate position, as he is directly between us. Damien, I think you should just let it go. She is still a lady, and older than us. The boy whispers at the end. You heard him, Damien. Back off! Smugly look at Damien while he gives a heavy sigh. A lady? I bet 100 marks she wouldn't be able to find a husband. Wow, you must have known a lot. You must have known a lot of marks then. And by the way, isn't human trafficking illegal? Little kids like you shouldn't be getting themselves into that kind of trouble. Two boys look at me confused. What's human trafficking? Ignore her, Sinclair. She has obviously inhaled some sort of gas. Did you just accuse me of being high? I believe you're at an average height, miss. Also, your feet are on the ground. Are you playing with me right now? She's definitely mad. Shh. What this good sir is trying to say is that we are merely talking to you. Why are you talking like that? This isn't the early 1900s. Damien and Sinclair look at each other once again. But it is. Huh? 1905. 1905 to be exact. Wait, what? That's not right. Am I dreaming right now? Did my brain decide to just commit seppuku on its own? Weird. Rude. Am I dead? Is my tombstone going to say cause of death studying philosophy for 30 minutes? Yeah, it is. No, I can't have that. I have so many memes to see. Gotta get my memes. Gotta collect them. Miss, are you okay? Stop it, me. I have to calm down. What was that emergency action for panic attack thing? Smell 5 things, hear 4 things, taste 3 things, look at 2 things, and touch 1 thing? That sounds like a good idea, actually. Like, I've actually never heard that, but makes a lot of sense. Sorry. Like, if you're having a panic attack, it can be important or helpful to, like, push your attention outside of yourself. So, looking at, like, stuff around you can be good. That doesn't sound right. Ah! Why don't I ever listen to classes? Miss? I feel someone hold my hand and I immediately grab onto it. This child coming onto me. Should do the deep breathing thing. Yeah, that should calm me down, right? I start heaving, trying to ground myself. And not pass out. Miss, you're hurting my hand. Should I kill her, Sinclair? Sinclair? Look at the boy holding my hand, whose name has suddenly become too familiar before eyeing the other boy. Demian? Why is that name so familiar? Oh, wait. But that can't be. There's no way. I mean, what's next? You're gonna tell me that you're being forced to pay a bully some cash because you made up some silly story about stealing apples? I stopped laughing when I saw the sunken look of Sinclair. No way. Okay, I'm definitely dreaming. Is this some weird side effect of cramming a week before the finals? So that's what it is. I thought it might be. Now, just one more question. Do you happen to know the name of the boy who left you back there at the Bergplatz? What boy? There wasn't any boy there, only me. Demian gives him an unamused look before turning to me. What's his name? You do know it, right? I believe it was Fred Crommel? It's Franz Cromer. Excellent, you're alright. We'll become friends yet. I don't know. I don't know the story, so I don't know what information we're gaining or correctly guessing here. First I have to tell you something. This Cromer, or whatever his name is, his face tells me he's a first-rate bastard. What do you think? Regardless of what he looks like, his actions were enough to convince anyone he's top-rate. He's pretty bad, but he mustn't hear about this. For God's sake, he mustn't find out anything. Do you know him? Does he know you? Chill, Sinclair. I highly doubt he knows Demian and me. Chill? It's not that cold. I facepalm myself, since I keep forgetting that they do not understand 21st century slang. Also, we don't know what slang originated when, or whether or not someone in the 1900s would be willing or able to understand our slang. Wikipedia article. So tempting. Thank you, MTV CDM. I meant calm down. I'm sorry. A lot of people in my timeline lately have been talking about, like, hold your horses, meaning to be stable. But no one would say be stable. So holding your horses, translating that doesn't make sense to me. I meant calm down, sorry. I'm, not from here. Obviously. Anyway, I'd like to meet this Cromer fellow. He goes to a public school, doesn't he? Yes. What grade is he in? The 5th. But don't say anything to him, please. I can see a dark gleam in Demian's eye upon acquiring all the information he needs. For murder. Don't worry, nothing will happen to you. I take it you don't want to tell me more about this Cromer. I can't. Too bad. We could have carried out the experiment a stage further, but I don't want to get you all upset. However, you realize, don't you, that your fear of him is all wrong. Such fear can destroy us completely. You've got to get rid of it. Simply got to. If you want to turn into someone decent, fear is the mind killer. Is the little death. You understand that, don't you? Certainly. You're completely right. It's so complicated. You've no idea. We know it's complicated. We know it's complicated. And for once, I actually agree with Demian. Sinclair, at some point in your life, you will have to stand up for yourself. But don't take too long, or you might regret it all the time you've lost merely idealizing your freedom. Meh. Wouldn't it help if I gave you as much as I owe him? No, that's not it. And you promised not to tell anyone about it. Not a word. You can trust me, Sinclair. You can tell me your secret some other time. Never! As you like. All I meant was, perhaps you'll tell me one more some other time. Voluntarily, of course. I don't know about that woman over there, but you don't think I would treat you like that. You the way that Cromer does, do you? Oh, no. I merely thought it over, and I'd never do it Cromer's way. You can't believe that. Besides, you don't owe me anything. I'm not into childish things like bullying anyways, so there's no need to worry about me. My secrets, your secrets are safe. About this bullying problem and the apples. Gently pat his head. His expression changes, and for the first time I see him smile. I'm going home now. There's just one more thing I'd like to say since you've gotten so far. You ought to get rid of this bastard. There's no other way of doing it. Kill him. It would impress and please me if you did. I'd even lend you a hand. I hear Sinclair softly whimper at the thought. Although killing him is the fastest way, there are still other options. Ones that you are comfortable with. Alright. Go on home. We'll find a way even though killing him would be simplest. Cases like this, the simplest course is always the best. Your friend Cromer isn't the best friend you had to have. I know. And you, it's rather impolite to not introduce yourself when you're taking part in a conversation with strangers. Oh, right. I've forgotten. I'm sorry. I'm Coriander. It's nice to meet you. I think. I shake hands with the both of them. Man, for kids, they're so formal. Before I forget, do you have any other clothes other than the ones you're wearing? Hey, Pagan Pilgrim, subscribed for 5 months in a row. Perfect voice acting. Keep it up. Wait. I don't. What's wrong with my clothes? Look at my pajamas, check if there's anything wrong with them. People don't, like, if you're wearing pajamas outside, you're aware. Nothing. However, it is eye-catching. I doubt you're in a position of someone who wants to attract attention. Hey, OG! Subscribe for 20 months in a row. Thank you. Smarty pants. Sinclair, you can go home. I'll take Coriander to a dress shop. We going shopping. Okay, bye. With that, Sinclair leaves the two of us alone. How gentlemanly of you to help me find a dress. It's not like I have a choice. You have nothing, don't you? I wouldn't say nothing. Besides, I like to believe that this is just some horrible dream. You run away from reality, and yet you have the face to advise Sinclair. I'm amazed. It's not that I'm running away. The reality I have lived with since the day I was born does not coincide with the reality I'm seeing right now. And what is reality? Is it subjective? My reality is different from yours. If that's your notion, then it would mean that there are as many realities as there are humans on this planet. In a way. Then what if I do something immoral just because it isn't considered immoral in my reality? Am I at fault? Yes, immoral is immoral. But it isn't in my reality. The fact that law, morality, and/or ethics remain constant in everyone's idea of reality means that these realities are connected. Therefore, there's just one big reality. I get it. Look, it's not easy to accept the reality that is being shown to me right now. That's all. You whine like a little girl. Should I remind you that I'm older than you? Apologies, m'lady. We continue to walk through town until we are in front of a dress shop. Unfortunately, this is as far as I go. I'm also new to this town, and I would rather save my mother from the disgrace of having a 12-year-old son caught in a scandal. Like, is there impropriety in entering a dress shop? Take this! Demian hands me a bag. To pay for the dress of your choice. Good luck. And, like, how am I supposed to, like, contact these boys again? After I get the dress? What's your game plan? What's your game plan, child? Before I can thank him, he leaves. Enter the shop and find myself some appropriate attire. Here's your change. Thank you, madam. Madam? blush at the comment. I've never been called a madam before, so it feels a little odd. Same. Take the cashier back and leave the shop. Upon getting out of the shop, the world suddenly seems blurry. People are suddenly walking in an insane speed. No one seemed to notice me, or rather, it seems like I don't exist. Numerous people pass through me like I'm a ghost. Ooh. Before I know it, everything returns to normal. I head to the alley as I feel nauseous, as if feeling the effect of the earlier event. As I try to keep myself together, a loud crash from the other side of the alley disrupts my thoughts. Yeah! I immediately cover my mouth out of sheer embarrassment. I didn't mean to scream like an eagle. Unknown person. What do you think of her? An angry-looking kid shouts as the silhouette of a smaller boy emerges. I quickly hide behind one of the dumpsters. Huh? Why is that voice so familiar? Cromer. Terraspidomorphy. We're not married, no. This is a dream from sleeping on a book, and we are a university student with a roommate, and we're taking care of a cat. What would a Cromer sound like? Yeah, you got that right. Who are you? Damien. Max Damien. Damien? What is he doing? I move a little to get a better view of what's happening. Yeah, the new kid. It's good that you're here. My knuckles wanted to introduce themselves. How amusing. I too have someone to introduce. With that, Damien grabs Cromer by the collar and pushes him to the wall with a small knife to his throat. What are you? This is my knife. Isn't she a beauty? By the way, I heard you're pretty close with this young lad. Sinclair, wasn't it? Sinclair? So he asked you to do this? Don't get me wrong. I'm here on my own accord. You see, I have nothing against you really. However, I can't approve of such method. Damien applies a small amount of pressure on his blade, causing Cromer to bleed a little. Do not approve of this child's methodology. What? Wait, stop! Now tell me, Mr. Cromer, are you enjoying yourself? The sensation of a sharp blade pointed at your throat, fearing the possibility that you'll soon lay on the ground lifeless while profusely bleeding from your throat, and the agonizing sensation of being unable to do anything but to await whether or not I intend to set you free. Is it amusing? You bluff. A rich, goody fellow like you couldn't do something as... Stab. Damien stabs Cromer in his left shoulder. Nyah! It's best that you stop your screaming before I decide to silence you forever. Damien positions his blade once again on Cromer's neck as Cromer immediately bites his lips to suppress his voice. Keep my eyes locked on Damien. His eyes are dark and sadistic. His lips are curled up, expressing his amusement. He looks and feels different, as if he's letting his demons run wild. And suddenly he smiles. Luckily for you, I'm in a good mood today, so I'll let you off with a warning. Leave Sinclair alone and pretend that the secret that the three of us now share doesn't exist. Run along. Cromer runs for his life the moment Damien lets him go. As soon as he's gone, Damien gives a loud sigh and puts his knife in his pocket. You can come out now. Does he know that I'm here? I know you're there. Your skirt's sticking out. I look over to my right and realize that he's right. Stupid skirt. Stand up and dust myself before properly looking at Damien. Quite nosy, aren't you? You're already undesirable based on your looks, and your personality is definitely not making it any better. Jeez, it's not like I'm itching to get married. Good. You're not getting a lover anytime soon anyway. I glare at him out of sheer annoyance. I end up pitching his cheeks. This is a rude, violent child. Who let this sassy child have a knife? Huh. Little kids like you should be good little kids who listen to people older than them. Get your hands off my cheeks, woman. Why did you just call me brat? You think you could scare me with the same act? I could hang you by the flagpole and leave you there. Alright, I'm sorry. Now hands off! I stopped pinching him with a victorious smirk. I wouldn't be too shocked if you naturally scare off men. Why, you little? What do you think of the world? What? The world. How do you see it? How do you see it? Is it good? Is it bad? What's your opinion? My opinion is either the world was originally intended to be good, however it was eventually stained by evil. I guess you could say that we're in a war against evil. Or, I don't know, a reality that exists to be both happiness and sunshine and gore and gloomy. Am I supposed to be trying to romance the child? What are my options here? I don't agree with either of these things. Even as an uneducated university scholar. I'll pick the second one. Well... yeah. Damien seems to be pleased with my answer. That's another way of saying it. I'm amazed that someone like you would think that way. Someone like me? What's that supposed to mean? You don't look like the type who thinks. I will rip your cheeks off. Seems like you're not that hopeless after all. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have errands to run. Then he leaves. I stare at the young boy's back until I couldn't see him anymore. I decide to roam around town since I have nothing better to do. I stopped when I saw Sinclair cautiously moving around. Good day, Sinclair. Ah! Oh, it's just you, Coriander. Please don't scare me like that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. In fact, I was just greeting you. I'm sorry. I'm just not feeling well today. Ah! Good day to you, too. You look like you need some company. Mind if I join you on your walk? I would love that, thank you. We start to walk quietly around town. He shows me some of its sights. However, I can't ignore the fact that he seems to be always on edge. Sinclair? Huh? I mean, what is it? Is something bothering you? What would you do if you were in my position? Would you tell your parents or handle it yourself? I would tell my parents. Even if you know it'll break their hearts? Yes, any parent will want their child to be safe. Your problem would be solved in an instant. I see. Hearing your answer made me realize how weak I am. You're not weak. How are you so sure that I'm not? Yes, I did try to handle it myself, but in reality, I'm just running away from it. I give in to his demands and say nothing like a coward. I can't even look at my parents in the eye anymore. You're making it sound a little too bad. I've stolen from my parents, Coriander. But you did say no when he asked for your sister. I am going to look at that wiki someday. How did you know? How much do you know? Just that much. I won't hold it against you, I swear. You know, handling it yourself doesn't always mean you're by yourself alone. Helping and sticking with you through thick and thin, that's what friends are. All of my friends are afraid of Cromer, and I haven't talked to them lately. What about Damien? I don't consider him a friend yet. We've just met after all. But he seems pretty interested in you. Maybe you should give him a chance. Maybe. The sound of bells disrupts our conversation. I have to go. I have something to do with my parents today. It was nice talking to you again. With that, Sinclair runs off. The world around me starts to blur as different images are shown to me. I see Cromer running away from the sight of Sinclair. I see Damien and Sinclair talking under a tree. And lastly, I see Sinclair crying to his mother, probably confessing what he has done. Then everything fades to black. I barely know anything about Damien or philosophy. If I took the final right now, I would absolutely fail it. It is now morning. My alarm clock rings and I jump out of bed. Madame Purbury jumps out of bed after me and stretches on the floor. Good morning. I feel like I've got a good rest and now I feel ready to do anything. Today is day 3. I have 7 more days to prepare for my finals. I don't feel very stressed. It's kind of strange feeling, given I have finals coming up. Oh, I'm gonna study. Photography? Open the textbook, try to understand the diagrams, but I just end up admiring the sample photos. I barely know anything about photography. If I took the final right now, I'd absolutely fail it. So it looks like there's some like stat gain based on the amount of time that I study on certain things. Don't feel very stressed. It's kind of a strange feeling given I have finals coming up. I guess I'll study again. Let's study The Taming of the Shrew. Flip through the book and feel intimidated by the number of acts and scenes. I barely know anything. It's now evening. Not stressed at all. Not even worried. Play with the cat. Meow. Do you like that? Meow. Madame Herbury doesn't seem to mind being stroked, at least so I continue doing it for a while. Having spent some time with her, I feel somewhat less stressed. It is now nighttime. Definitely proved last night that I can dream about a textbook when I sleep on it. It's either a strange ability or a manifestation of my stress regarding finals. But I think it's helping me with studying, so it might be nice to continue doing so. Yeah, back to microbiology and immunology. What? This again? Why does this keep happening? You again. Where did you come from this time? I spun around quickly and saw Pasteur standing in the doorway to the laboratory, his arms full of oddly shaped glass bottles. Ah! He frowns, crossing his arms. Should I explain how I got here? Wait, I don't know how I got here. When in doubt, honesty's the best policy. Listen, I'm just as confused as you are. He snorts. And make yourself useful. Take these flasks. No more larvae? I suppose Marie must have told you about my experiments when you last visited. Yeah. Also, I read about it in my big textbook that was written more than 100 years after you died. Spoilers. An English physician has written me about his surgical experiments. He believes he can prevent both sepsis and gangrene. Naturally, he thought first of my work on the fermentation of milk. Naturally. I'm not sure he understands sarcasm. Must be a genius thing. He has begun to treat his patients with carbolic acid to disinfect their wounds. Ooh. Ouch, that sounds unpleasant. Wouldn't it be safer to just boil all his surgical tools? Pasteur throws his hands up in the air. Not you too. What did I say? Wait, if you're working on antiseptics, then this lab must be full of gross germs. I hope I don't come down with something. Bah! Bacteria are not gross. Most of them are completely benign to humans. Why do I feel like I should have known that already? Alright, because it's going to be on the test. It is, however, true that my current work revolves around pathogens. Ugh. If you take proper precautions, no harm will come to you. Right. If I want to do well in my microbiology class, I should probably pay attention to what he says. Precision is vitally important in scientific research, military precision and discipline. Nothing is more important than discipline for training a young mind like yours. Nothing? You disagree? Do you think there's some virtue more significant to a scientist than discipline? Empathy? Now you sound like my wife. Your wife is very smart. You should give her more credit. He looks genuinely baffled. Of course. I would not be able to continue my important work without her assistance. She could be doing more than assisting. I'm actually a little mad. Already the germ theory has affected medical practice. But what more could we do if used to not only treat not only injured soldiers on the battlefield, but infectious diseases? Cholera, smallpox, influenza, even the plague. Influenza? Wah! Surprise wife! Whew. The influenza struck Europe not 10 years ago. It strikes all people but some more vulnerable than others. The elderly, the ill, children. They are the first to die. This is a very good smooching game. Pasteur clears his throat. A child who falls ill and survives will never be prey to the same illness again. As we have seen with the smallpox in the past, the immunity lasts a lifetime. I think that she just moved in for some cuddles. Induced immunity has been proven as effective, at least in the case of cowpox vaccine. And yet we persist in isolating smallpox patients, though we have more effective treatment within reach. He sighs deeply like a long-suffering prophet. What does he mean? The Parliament has declined to make smallpox vaccination compulsory. They say the process is not reliable. He's still very upset about it. I'm not upset, Marie. I'm indignant. Of course you are, my dear. It is but a temporary setback. Eventually they will see reason. The future marches ever forward. Smallpox was eradicated back in the 70s. I wonder if I should tell them. Maybe someday vaccines can end smallpox altogether. Marie stifles a cough in her hand. Why do I get the feeling she's laughing at me? Well, it's worth striving for anyway, isn't it? Ambition is only one building block of the truly visionary scientist. If you want to realize your visions, you had best get back to your studies, just as I must get back to my work. His oddly encouraging words stay with me when I fade back into awareness in my dorm room. That was short. Bleary-eyed, my face stuck to an open page of the textbook I dozed off on. I have a basic understanding of these microbiology concepts, but I'm definitely not ready to take the final. Morning. My alarm clock rings and I sit up in bed. Madame Perbury yawns and nuzzles against me. As Brisk might say, rise and shine, Sleeping Beauty. Today is day 4, and I believe today is break time. So I will be back shortly. I'm gonna stand up, refresh my beverage, and maybe grab a snack. So see you again shortly. I see you all chatting about whether or not we can do any smooching. I'm on to you. I'm thinking we can try like maybe the photography route. I don't know if we can smooch on Louis Pasteur. I don't know if I want to either. And I don't want to do Demi and the Murder Child. So I mean the Taming of the Shrew might have people available, but they're probably just rude and Shakespearean. Yeah, G-Dwarf. No desire to smash the world's shell. Oh! Azralorn, subscribed for 30 months in a row. Romance Mary Curie. She's not Mary Curie, she's Mary Pasteur. They're married. Unless physics is an option. I don't feel very stressed. So I'm gonna do think about life. Sit down on my bed and think about the insatiable desires of fangirls. But how can fangirls feel unfulfilled after playing this game? This game has gross germs, fanfiction, memes, and cats. Those are the most important aspects of life, right? I feel like I have a slightly better understanding of philosophy now. I still haven't actually read the book I'm supposed to read. As confusing as Damien is, I should probably read it at some point and spend a few good nights sleeping on it. It is now the afternoon. No stress whatsoever. Surfing the internet. Spend a few hours watching cat videos and not taking care of my roommate's cat. Cat is so cute. I enjoys cuddling with humans. Ready to get back to it. I'm gonna study the photographer book. Open the book, try to read it. But cat happens. I don't really know anything about photography. Kind of just skipping those because it's just reporting back kind of like what my stat changes are. Which book to sleep on? Life of a Photographer coming up. Some sprite expressions and backgrounds. Uh-oh. Oh, good. Wah! I can feel the gentle breeze through my hair, the bright light shining on my eyes, the soft ground that I'm laying on. I open my eyes. Where am I? Hashtag narration of field. Startled, I turn around. A young man is looking at me, camera held in hand. Say hello. Hi? Can I help you? Sorry. My name is Luca Hilton. What's yours? Luca Hilton. Luca Hilton. The realization hits. What? Startled, Luca jumps back. A step. Are you okay? Aren't you Luca Hilton, the Luca Hilton who wrote A Life of Photographer? Gives me a puzzled look as though I'm crazy. I've never written a book. Seriously? Stare at him bewilderedly. Am I mistaken for someone else? I guess it's kind of common. Are you okay, miss? Coriander, that's my name. Sorry, I must have mistaken you. I know an author that has the same name as you. Don't worry about it. So, are you a photographer? Luca holds up his camera and grins. Yeah, I'm trying to find the perfect picture to enter for a photography contest. Really? That's great. Have you figured out your picture yet? Not yet. I'm still experimenting. By the way, what are you doing here? What do you mean? This field is a secret place. Not many people know of it. This field. Totally secret. Can't even see it from the air. Oh, I'm not from here. I was just taking a walk and stumbled here. Luca looks at me suspiciously. I never was the best at lying. So, are you on a high school trip? That's rude. I'm a college student. Luca puts his hands up. My apologies. I didn't mean to offend. It's okay. I'm actually learning photography in school. His eyes seem to sparkle with sudden interest. Oh yeah? What do you know? I laugh and scratch my head. Not much, actually. I just started. What about you? Luca puffs out his chest. I'm a pro. You're joking. I'm not. I've won a few competitions. Seriously? Dead serious. I look at him slyly. So you wouldn't mind mentoring me, right? Lucas scratches his head before sighing. I guess it wouldn't hurt. So, what do you know? How to hold a camera? What else? Nothing! He sighs again. Okay, let's start with the basics. The most important thing to a good photo is composition. Have you heard of the rule of thirds? Nope! Okay. Luca ponders for a moment, trying to figure out the best way to explain it. So the main So the main idea of the rule of thirds is to mentally divide your image by using 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines. Once you've done that, you want to position the focus of your photo where those lines intersect. So in the end, you have 4 different points you can position focus.
I don't really get it.
Grabs his camera and turns it on. Okay, let's say the main focus of your photo is that tree over there, right?
Uh-huh.
Lucas shows me in the camera screen. There are 2 horizontal lines, 2 vertical lines, both spaced evenly. In the end, it makes 9 boxes. So we want to position our camera in a way that the tree lines up with one of those 4 points. Lucas points at the intersection between the lines, which were the 4 points surrounding the middle box. Then he takes a picture and shows it to me. See? I nod, dazed by how beautiful the picture looks. Okay, you try. He hands me the camera and I take it nervously. Now, try to take a picture of the same tree. Shakingly, I take a picture and show it to him. Luca looks at it, pats me on the head. Nice job.
Thanks. So what's the point of this?
The idea is that having your main focus off-center is more pleasing to the eye and more natural than the subject being placed in the middle of the frame.
I see. Hey, do you hear that?
Hear what?
The ringing sound.
I don't hear anything. I look around trying to figure out where that noise is, then I turn around, Luca's gone, and everything fades to black.
Starting to understand the concepts of photography, but I need to study the subject a lot more.
Yeah, I'm gonna study the subject a lot more. My alarm clock rings. I wake up with a yawn. Madame Burberry yawns as well and jumps off my stomach.
That was a decent night's sleep. I feel refreshed.
Today's day 5. 5 more days.
No stress.
Alright, so I'm gonna study the book. Try to replicate some of the diagrams in the textbook by hand, but my replications don't seem accurate at all. Ugh.
I have a basic understanding of photography, but I'm not quite ready to take the final.
I'm gonna take photos. I'll leave my room for a study break, walk around the dorm building. See a few birds, but they fly away before I can take pictures of them. I feel like kind of better grasp of photography now. Hey, Rainy Sam 229, subscribed for 55 months. That's a whole lot of months. It is a lot of months. It's now evening. I'm a pet cat.
Meow. Come here.
Madame Burberry does not jump onto the bed, but she does nuzzle against my leg.
I guess that works as well.
Spend a while stroking her fur. Having spent some time with her, I feel somewhat less stressed. Didn't feel stressed at all. It's now night. Hey, I can do photography again.
What? Eh?
The bustling noise of people awakened me. Just laying in the street.
I'm back in the book?
Hey! I jump, startled by the sound, to turn around. There stands Luca, arms crossed.
Hey!
Where did you go?
Huh?
The last time we met, you just disappeared.
Oh! Sorry, I had to go.
You could have said bye.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Luca sighs and pats my head. It's okay. He ponders for a second. Okay, how about we try some portrait photography today? I nod, as Luca continues walkie-talking. Portrait photography is taking a picture of people. It is very important to be aware of your surroundings. This music is intense for this portrait-taking scene. You want to pay attention to how a person is positioned, where they are located in relation to the environment, where they are looking and how the light is directed on them. Luca raises his camera and snaps a picture. Then he shows it to me. The picture is of a woman pushing a stroller with her child. She has stopped and looking in the window of one of the shops. See? Here the person is looking at the window and see how the light hits to show her face? Also look. He points to the part of the camera. The stroller adds dynamic to the photo against the windowsill.
I see.
I nod as Luca takes his camera again for another shot. This time it's a close-up picture of a young girl holding an ice cream cone. Okay, so for this one, I focused on getting the expression of the girl. The way the light hits, it highlights her face in the cone. Also, since the background is blurry, it really highlights the girl. How did you do the blurry background? I'll show you that another time. Okay! Luca hands me the camera. Here, your turn. Are you sure? He grins at me and gives me a thumbs up. Go for it. Luca. Grab the camera and carefully aim it towards him. Hashtag describe him. He looks dumbfounded. I giggle, take a shot. I got you! I really didn't think you'd take a picture of me. Scratches his head and laughs. I'm not really a good subject, but let me see. He grabs the camera from me and examines the photo. I look terrible. You look just fine. Luca pats my head. Well, good job, kiddo. Pout and cross my arms. I'm not a kid. Yeah. Luca grabs me by the hand. Come on, let's go. Go where? To take pictures, of course. I nod and follow him, a smile on my face. Photo date, photo date, photo date. I spend the entire day taking different pictures of people until the evening. Luca checks his clock. Well, I hope that is helpful. It definitely was, thank you. No problem. Well, I gotta go. I'll see you around. He pats me on the head before rushing off in the distance. Now what should I do with this mysterious place? But before I begin to explore, everything becomes black. I feel like I'm almost ready for the exam. Oh. Waking up with Madame Perbury. Good morning. Feel like I've had a good rest. Feel ready to do anything. 4 more days. I don't feel stressed at all. We studied Taming of the Shrew. I read a scene in the book and realized that I mixed up 2 of the characters. Read it again, realized I didn't mix them up at all. I'm starting to understand the play, but I need to study it a lot more. I'm gonna do some study of photography. Open up the photo editing program, follow the steps in the book. My photo doesn't seem to look better after the edits. I'm absolutely prepared to pass my photography final, and I definitely enjoy photography now. I know the words. It's now evening. No stress. Study Demian. Read a page of the book 3 times in a row, but I'm still not sure what it means. Starting to understand. So I'm still trying to pass all my finals. I don't want to fail. It's nighttime. Let's do more photography. This time when I open my eyes, I'm at a park. Hey. He waves, walking towards me. I grin at him. So, what are we learning today? I was going to teach you landscape photography, but I don't have too much time. Oh? Luca hands me the camera. Remember the rule of thirds? Earthworm, we are just here to do a smooch on a boy. I nod. Remember what you learned about portrait photography? I nod again. Good. Now practice. Glaring at him, I look through the lens. Landscape photography. How to do this. Position the camera to face the bridge and take the picture. After I aim it for a tree, I try to take the picture of that. Lastly, I decide to capture the lake. I hand the camera back to Luca. Here! Luca looks at the camera and nods. Definitely took some photos. Wow, good job. Pats me on the head. I'm absolutely prepared. Oh, I don't get to do a smooch. Day 7. 3 more days. Okay. If I visit the laboratory, I'll get some biology. Help another student prepare some petri dishes by filling them with agar. The student thanks me, and I spend the rest of the time observing her as she prepares bacterial cultures. I feel like I have a slightly better understanding of microbiology now. It's now the afternoon. No stress. I'll study Demian, I guess. Trying to identify character archetypes in the story, but I realize I mixed up some of the character names. There's like 3 people in the story as far as I know, based on the dream. Need to read the book a lot more. No stress. I think she's lying to herself, so I'll play with the cat. Pick up one of Madame Perbury's toys and wave it at her. Meow? Come on, let's play. Madame Perbury jumps into the bed and curls up. Meow. Guess you want to be stroked instead. Sit down in bed and stroke her for a while. Having spent some time with her, feel somewhat less stressed. How many more nights do I have? Like 3? So let's see what the Taming of the Shrew is like. Only included up to scene 2. Sweet. So this should be scene 1. I blink, open my eyes, squinting as they are assaulted by the bright sunlight. My surroundings are unfamiliar, and I rotate slowly, trying to get my bearings. Forgive my candor, but you are certainly the most beautiful maiden I have ever laid eyes on. Ah! I whirl around at the unexpected voice, nearly tripping over my feet in my surprise. Truly your features have an elegance the like of which I have never seen on another. I feel my face flame as a result of the stranger's no-hold-barred compliments. I could say the same about you. By some miracle, I managed to get the words out without stuttering. It's not a lie, the girl is very pretty. Feathery golden hair frames the face, and her simple, wine-colored dress hugs her body in a way that is pretty damn attractive. Judging by her reaction, I guess she wasn't expecting me to reciprocate. Ah, you have my sincere thanks. Neither of us is sure what to say, and an awkward silence passes between us. So, what's your name? My name is Bianca Manola, and yourself? Bianca Manola? Like the Taming of the Shrew, Bianca. This is weird. I'm Coriander. Well, it is my pleasure to meet you, Coriander. Her eyes flick down to my attire, which I now realize is just my pajamas. Guess it's a good thing I don't sleep in my underwear. That would have been embarrassing. What an exotic raiment you wear. Which country do you hail from? Crap, wasn't prepared to answer that question. America doesn't even exist yet. Doesn't it? It's the 1600s, right? Or in the, what year is the Taming of the Shrew set? I come from a place very far away. You've never heard of it. 1500s, okay. I certainly haven't heard of your brand of speech before now. Perhaps you are a woman of Spain. What? Spain? Where on earth did you hear that from? Where on earth? Well, Spain is west of Italy, if I've heard correctly. Oh boy, talk about a language barrier. See, this is why Shakespeare plays have to be translated from English to English. The language evolved like crazy between now and then. No, it's a figure of speech, which... What I meant was, why do you think I'm from Spain? Despite her obvious confusion, Bianca doesn't question me. Oh, I see. It was only a guess, I suppose. Your accent is one I've not heard before. Well, it's not Spanish accent, that's for sure. What sort of accent is it, then? It's, well, it's not from this world. Sound like a side character in a fantasy novel. Not of this world. Are you a spirit, then, perhaps? Mayhap a fairy? Yeah, let's go with that. It'll probably be easier for her to accept fairy than confused college kid from the future. Yeah, I could be called a fairy. I'm just visiting your world for a while. To think that I've met such a rare and delightful creature as yourself. Tell me, Coriander, what is it like in your world? What do fairies eat and wear and discuss? This is gonna be fun. We eat foods that are rich and sweet, more than you could ever imagine. Not a lie, chemicals and genetics have brought food a long way since this time period. Golden cakes bursting with sweetness inside. Twinkies. Thinly sliced potatoes laced with salt. A description which applies to both potato chips and French fries. And meat and bread decorated with the most heavenly red and yellow sauces. Hot dogs. Can't go wrong. And the clothing. It ranges from the simplest fabrics and patterns for working to the most outrageous finery that there is. We draw inspiration from nature, from stories, even from your own fashions. I gesture to Bianca's dress and she looks down at it with new appreciation, running her fingers along the fabric of the skirt. The discussions, of course, are the best part of being a fairy. We discuss our politics, the confessions of bears, and what we think ought to happen in other worlds. I've even published works concerning that last topic. It's hard not to feel a little smug under Bianca's admiring gaze. Poetry's not nearly as hard as I thought, either. All I had to do was string some fancy words together, and I had her in the palm of my hand. Your world must be flawless. I wish I could visit it. Her statement gives me pause. I wouldn't call it flawless, actually. No? Not at all. There are fairies who look down on other fairies for stupid reasons, for one thing. What sort of stupid reasons? Little differences between us that shouldn't matter. All of the wonderful things that I described, not all fairies have them. Some are denied those privileges because of those little differences. The world just doesn't give everyone the same luck at birth. Bianca stands in silence, considering my words. Mayhap our worlds are not so different as we thought. She's right about that. I guess even though the world has changed so much, the people in it haven't followed suit. You definitely hit the nail on the head there. Thought that I spoke quietly enough that she wouldn't hear me, but Bianca gives me a curious look. Luckily, she doesn't ask after my comment. So, you've told me about your world, but how much do you know about mine? Not as much as I'd like to. I'd love if you could enlighten me. As you wish. My world is rather boring, I think, in comparison to your own. There's nothing special or mystical about our food or that we indulge in, and in the winter months we are forced to eat food that has been preserved. I must admit that a person of my status eats far better than those who are lower than I. The meats may not be magical, but we have a myriad of different ones to choose from in the more plentiful months. Mutton is my favorite choice, I think. I can't complain about what we wear, I suppose. I know very little of men's garments, but I enjoy the hats and dresses that haberdashers and tailors labor long and hard to create for me. Perhaps they might seem plain, but if your kind has clothing inspired by ours, it must have some value. Of course, the only topic of discussion we seem to have is marriage. Wow, that came out of nowhere. Marriage? Marriage. Oh, are your daughters of marrying age? What dowry are you planning on offering? I know of several fine young men who might make good matches. Ah, but your elder daughter is getting rather old. You'd best get her engaged before her beauty doth wither. I don't know if I've ever seen someone so bitter. I don't think she's the oldest daughter, though, if I remember. If I remember right, Bianca's the younger one. Sounds like you're venting. I beg your pardon? Sounds like you're speaking angrily about your own personal experiences. I suppose I am. So are you the older daughter or the younger daughter? I'd rather not make her suspicious. I am the youngest. My sister Catherine is unmarried, as am I, and my father has made it known that I shall remain so until she has a husband of her own. But Catherine has no suitors, and I have two. Catherine was always a choleric sort. Choleric? But all of this has only made her angrier. I can't even converse with her without being abused by her vulgar verbiage. I remember this now, the sisters didn't get along at all. And you don't say anything that might make her angry? Maybe she's just tired of people being rude to her and decided to be rude right back. Bianca's face is a picture of innocence tinged with sadness as she answers. Never on my life. Bianca! Speak of the devil. A woman in green strides up to us, looking as pissed as if she had no suitors and her sister had two. What reason do you have to be standing out here? Father bid the both of us to come inside, did he not? What reason have you to meddle in my affairs, wretched wench? Never in your life, huh?
Father wishes to act. Father wishes to act is my reason. Not that it would matter at least to you. You could murder a man and remain in his good graces while I am left a cursed shrew.
Your shrewishness is by no other fault but thine. Blame not me nor our father for it.
As if your temper is any better than mine. You may conceal it in company, but I know of your shortcomings.
You know, I thought Catherine was sort of mean to Bianca, but now I realize they're both just jerks to each other. You speak of my shortcomings, and yet the only reason that I have not married is because you are not.
And yet, these marriages come to pass, both men shall be satisfied, else neither shall. For you are no better than I, and I no better than you.
At least Catherine knows she's not a saint. Bianca could probably work a little on that. When, or rather if these marriages come to pass, there are few who would to spend the rest of their life together with you. I've been watching the intense exchange like a sporting event, sans the cheering up till now, but finally Catherine spares me a glance. She seems surprised to realize I've been standing there for so long.
Who are you, and what care do you have for our conversation?
Although she doesn't seem to be quite as angry as before, Catherine still looks suspicious of me, eyeing my clothes less with curiosity and more with apprehension. Bianca, to my relief, gives me a look that signals she's letting me take the lead on this rather than blurting out that I'm a fairy. I debate for a second whether it's a good idea to use that story on her, since she seems like a pretty no-nonsense person. Then again, she has a character in a Shakespeare play, and I can't exactly change my story with Bianca still standing there.
I'm a fairy. I've come to visit this world for a short time.
Catherine regards me silently. She doesn't seem entirely convinced, but she isn't saying anything against my story either.
You're not here to play tricks on any humans, are you?
Of course not.
Oh, pity! Had that been your purpose, I would have requested that my sister be your first victim.
I would have asked the same of you, and mine would have been the first honored since I met Coriander first. Anyway, she likes me. I had been ready to say something about how it didn't matter who would or wouldn't have been pranked since I'm not a troublemaker anyway, but Bianca's pride in being my chosen partner in this conversation is adorably charming enough to make me forget what I wanted to say for a second.
Fie! We haven't had the time for idleness. Come, Bianca. Father wants to see us at once.
What is so important that we can't linger for a while?
Ah. A third suitor for you.
Catch surprise as it flits across Bianca's face, then another before she smiles smugly at her sister. The second one wasn't disappointment, was it? But of course, the suitor would not be searching for you, would he?
I do not wish to begin this anew. It would only lead to our tardiness and father's wrath.
Bianca turns her attention to me once more. Will I see you again, Coriander? That's a really good question. I can't say for sure. Oh. Let us hope then. It was such a pleasure to speak with you. I have learned much about your world, but I should like to learn more about you, I think. Farewell, and God save you, Coriander.
You as well, Bianca. And Catherine?
Catherine doesn't acknowledge my well-wishing, although to be fair, it was clearly an afterthought on my part, instead electing to turn her back and start walking. Bianca smiles at me one final time before gathering her skirts and following after her sister in a decidedly unhurried fashion. I watch them until they become red and green blobs in the distance, a bit uncertain myself now. The area around me is completely deserted as far as I can tell. Just when Bianca and Catherine are completely out of sight, and I figure I should start walking, I blink and then... darkness. I'm starting to understand the play, but I should study it a lot more. It's now morning. My alarm clock rings and I jump out of bed. Madame Porbury jumps out of bed after me and stretches on the floor. Good morning! I feel like I had a good rest. Now I feel ready to do anything. Today is day 8. 2 more days. I don't feel stressed at all. So I guess I should study Taming of the Shrew. Read the script, look up several words that I didn't understand, and I realize I don't understand a lot of words. The basic understanding of the play, but I'm not ready to take the final. It is now the afternoon. I don't feel stressed at all. I'm gonna study
Microbiology? Maybe read the textbook and run through the experimental procedures in my mind. I feel like I'm almost ready to take the microbiology exam, but there's still some concepts I should review. Nighttime. Study Demian? Try to identify character archetypes. Realize I mixed up some of the character names. Basic understanding, but not quite ready to take the final. Oh, it is now night. What to do? Photography or Taming of the Shrew? So I'm gonna do photography, and then if that doesn't do more, I'll go Taming of the Shrew again. Because that seems like it might have smooching. Can feel the gentle breeze through my hair, the bright sunlight. Oh, did we loop? This feels familiar. Hey, turn around and find Luca there. Were you listening to me? No, sorry. Look at how long have we been here? 30 minutes? Huh, but I was in my room. I'm sorry. Luca grins and pats my head. It's okay. What were you saying? So, there's this big photography competition coming up. Oh, nice. Are you attending? I'm actually competing. Really? Congrats. Thanks. Luca scratches his head and looks away. I, was wondering if you'd come with me. Of course! Luca looks relieved. He smiles. I'm glad. So, what are you submitting? Luca scratches his head again. That's actually the problem. I'm not sure what I should submit. What do you think? What does this person specialize in? I'm assuming landscapes? That seems like a thing. Ooh, but portraits. Portrait of me. Portrait of me. Still not sure. I laugh. Why'd you ask for my input then? Luca shrugs. Just curious, I guess. There's a long silence. Hey. Do you remember this place? Yeah. It's the place I first met you. He smiles and looks me straight in the eye. I'm so glad we met. I can't hold his gaze and look away. Me too. Luca pats my head and doesn't say another word. Two of us stare at the field of flowers in silence until it gets dark. I'm absolutely prepared. I definitely enjoy photography now. So maybe if I do another photography, I'll get to see the competition. Last day. So I'll just save. Boom. Return? There we go. I don't feel stressed at all. Laboratory. Observe some students using a centrifuge to separate the components of tiny test tubes. Centrifugal force is quite impressive and doesn't exist. I feel like I have a slightly better understanding of microbiology now. It's now the afternoon. I don't feel stressed at all. I'm gonna study Demian. Read the book, jot down some notes about the sequence of events. I feel like I'm almost ready for the exam. I should study a bit more. Okay. So I think I'll play with the cat. Meow. Do you like that?
Meow! Doesn't seem to mind being stroked, at least, so I continue doing it for a while. Totally awesome. Cat time. It's now night. What? Photographer? Only option? Well then. Ah. At last, here we are, the day of the competition. I look to see Luca next to me. He gives me a huge grin. Nervous? I nod. A little. So, what did you decide to submit? Follow me. I follow him nervously until he stops. Looking at a wall, I see a portrait. The portrait is a picture of me. When did you take that? He scratches his head. When we met. I recognized the picture. It was the first time we met. It was when I was in the field of flowers. I smiled to myself. The announcement is made. I stare in shock. Luca! You won! You won! Luca stares in disbelief. His mouth widens into a huge grin. Coriander, I won! It's thanks to you! Suddenly he pulls me in and gives me a huge hug. Thank you! Thank you so much! Luca tightens his hug and somehow I hug him back. You can hear clapping in the distance, but the noise gradually fades out. The day goes on and the competition ends. Luca did not win. Someone else did. But Luca did win. Hear clapping in the distance, but the noise gradually fades out. Absolutely prepared. I'm gonna pretend there was a smooch. Change out of my pajamas and exit the dorm room. Before I leave, I check Madame Perbury has everything she needs for a few hours. Because I've got 4 finals. But I managed to finish all exams on time. Evaluate my success in the finals, head back towards my dorm room. First exam I took was English. I almost certainly failed it. Okay, I only knew the basics, and that definitely wasn't enough. Second exam was microbiology, and I'm sure I passed. I now think microbiology is exciting and can't wait to try some experiments of my own. I'm gonna create a monster. My third exam was photography, and definitely passed that one just fine. I enjoy photography now, and I'm looking forward to taking some photos when I have free time. Last exam was philosophy, and I don't think I passed that one. Almost certainly I failed it, actually. And if only I spent a bit more time with the subject. I don't think I passed all my classes, but at least I did well in some few of them. Might have to retake the classes I didn't pass, but I hope I can graduate on time anyway. I still don't even know what I'm going to major in. I walk back to the dorm and think about my strange ability to dream about textbooks by sleeping on them. I wonder how many characters I met in those books. I wonder how the characters I met in those books are doing, and whether I'd meet them again. Meh? I yawn, stretching my arms. Huh? I must have fallen asleep. The exams are finally over. I think I did okay. I look out the window, staring at the afternoon sky. I can't believe I finally finished. Thanks to Luca, I was really able to do well in the photography exam. Luca! I hear a shutter noise and quickly turn around, my eyes shining in excitement. Luca! I look up to see a boy looking at me, camera in hand. Not Luca. Oh, I'm sorry. The boy stretches his head, averting my gaze. It's okay. I'm the one who should be sorry. So, what are you reading? I follow his gaze as it falls on the book into my desk. Oh! It's the life of a photographer. Do you like it? I actually wasn't able to finish it for the exam. Oh, do you want to tell me about it? Sure! It's a memoir from the author, Luca Hilton. He met a girl in a field and ended up being able to teach her about photography. Because of her, he was able to win a competition. He actually submitted a picture he took. The first time he met her, she was so beautiful that he couldn't help it. The book explains his life during the period and how the girl saved him when he was struggling with his photography. The most interesting part is, she was mysterious. He never knew where she came from. Wow! You see, I feel the same way. About you, I mean. I took the picture of you because you're so beautiful, just like the girl in the book. My cheeks flush. We've actually been in the same class. You probably don't recognize me, but I've always been interested in you. Would you go out with me? Before I can say anything, he puts his hand out. I'm Liam, by the way. Without thinking, I automatically grab it and shake it. There's something about him, I'm not sure what,
but something makes me feel like I know him. Look down, my face is still red. I'd like to try.
Dating you, I mean.
Liam pulls me into a warm embrace, and somehow I find myself smiling. I'm excited to know him. I'm excited for the future. Ending. A cute boy just confessed to me. I got ending 2 of 2 of the photographer route. This route is currently missing 1 sprites. Whatever. The end of that game. Woo! Oh! I really expected more in-depth character examination and stuff. I do have another game prepped. I'm just gonna update the overlay. I mean the Twitch dashboard. Spell this correctly. I'm going to be playing Appealing Personality. This is a banana eating contest, apparently. Contestants must be 18 years or older to enter. Only 25 people allowed to enter. Only entire bananas will be counted. No one must touch the bananas before start signal. Half-eaten bananas will not be counted. When the time limit is up, you must put everything down. Visible signs of sickness will get you disqualified. Ties will be decided by 1v1 eat-off. Contestants will be allowed to drink water during the competition. Waiver must be signed before the competition. This is a banana dating sim. Do I eat it? Knife and fork? Yes. I didn't wear yellow intentionally. I'm not sure what the meter indicates. What can I even do? Oh, it's got a face. It's gonna fair eat me. I'm so close to completing my plan. Why do so much? I'm destined. Hold more power in my malevolent field than doing your entire body. Do you not understand that in your hand you hold the mighty Banana Lord? I'm destined to conquer all of the known world and beyond. I've spent years preparing, and I'm nearly ready. I will not allow you to foil my plans, even if you are hungry. Put me down. I'm gonna eat him. Let's see what this banana is. Oh, look at that. Well, aren't you just a captivating being? How lucky am I to be held by someone so gorgeous? I can't believe someone as handsome and lovely as you picked me. I was wondering what someone as attractive as you would be doing. I'm so honored to have been chosen, because you are quite a catch. Been in the bunch for so long, but nothing I've seen comes close to you. Your eyes are magnificent, more stunning than the starry sky on a cool night. Your delicate lips more pillowy than the fluffiest clouds in the sky. Your nose more pleasing to the eye than any scenic landscape found anywhere in the world. But of course, I know you aren't just looks. I know you're so much more. Your exquisite experience. Your intelligence is admirable. I'm sure you have the answer to every question. Your compassion for others is inspiring. If you were as kind as you are, if ever this were as kind as you, oh God, so fast. But let me continue. Your passion is incredible. You always put 110% into everything you do. Isn't it amazing that I met such a person at this exact moment in time? If I didn't know better, I'd say this was fate. It's quite clear to me. I hope it's clear to you too. We're obviously meant to be together. We give you all the attention you could ever need. We'd be happy together in bliss, just you and I. So what do you say? Yeah, thumbs up, this banana. So now we understand kind of how the mechanics work. I say, date again. Let's see what some of these other bananas. I think I just straight up ate the first one. I don't see a face. Still no face. Oh, there it is. This is
the one that I married. Oh, this is a new one. You're so, oh wow, wait, sorry, what did I say? What do I say? I think you're really stunning. Oh god, that was terrible, let me try again. Hold on, just give me a second. Wait. Are you Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see. I'm so sorry, let me try that again. Okay, I'm no photographer, but I can picture us together. Was that better? Of course it wasn't. Hold on, I got this. Okay, breathe in and out. If I could rearrange the alphabet. No, that's just too corny. I'm really sorry. Just turn into banana mush. I swear I'm better at this. Okay, this line will definitely work. If 1,000 painters worked for 1,000 years, they could not create a piece of work as stunning as you. Did that work? I mean, do you think I did a pretty okay job with that one? Didn't even stutter. I want to find out what happens if I thumbs down. I just think you're really cool and I want to impress you. I hope that using lame pickup lines would help. I mean, did it? Did it work? Maybe you could tell me. If nothing lasts forever, will you be my nothing? No. I not marry a banana that time. What's this one? This one looks like Yarnaika. I'm so honored. Those fingers. Oh god, yes. How you're holding me. Your touch, it's intoxicating. The way your fingers caress my peel. I can tell that you've done this before. You're a pro at holding bananas, aren't you? The banana holding champion. That's you, alright. Well, fortunately for you, I like being held. I don't mind being held so gently. You're soft, aren't you? But truth be told, I wouldn't mind being held a little tighter. I don't mind being treated roughly. When I say roughly, I mean really rough. Like, I'm about to explode out of my peel rough. It may look like a soft, vulnerable banana, but I can promise I can take it. Just do it, don't be afraid. Please, I need this. Yeah, just like that. It's perfect.
This is weird.
You're definitely a pro. I'm never wrong. Maybe we should just do this some more. What can I say? I'm needy. This banana could get used to being held if I use some more. No. James closed the door on me. Oh, here's one. This one looks like an alien. Ugh. What do you want? Do you have a reason for wanting to talk to me? I mean, I suppose you could keep me company. I guess I don't mind. I know that's just what you expect, though. I'm just a banana. You're really strange, aren't you? Whoop. AKA hailing, subscribe for 7 months in a row, resub for lewd bananas. Banangs. You something? Or you just don't? Not that I mind. I just find it strange. Aren't you supposed to eat me? Is this not an eating contest? You're supposed to eat us as fast as possible. You're quiet. Quiet, yet very strange. There's something about you that I can't ignore, something different. I feel comfortable around you, like I can open up to you. I don't really know how to explain it, to be honest. I was ready to be eaten today, you know? But now, meeting you has made me think. Maybe there's something more to life than being eaten. Perhaps you could show me what life could really be like. Tsunana. Ryan restarted. Sub for 8 months in a row. What? I can't believe this is happening. Can you just put me down? I'm not in the mood to deal with you or your stinky breath right now. You look like such a slob, being covered head to toe in chunks of banana. And those clothes. Who let you out of the house? Clearly was so much more than you are. Just put me down already. I'm tired of you. You should apologize to me for even looking at me. I'm worth more as a banana than you ever will be as a person. Not much of a talker, are you? Are you a birdie sort of person? Maybe you're just really shy? Well, at least you aren't rude. You don't talk back to me. You didn't even roll your eyes when I critique you. Alright, maybe I was a little hard on you. Only a little. You still look like a slob, but also cute. I guess you aren't so bad. You still haven't eaten me.
Maybe you're still salvageable. Maybe I could be the one to help you. Wouldn't that be an idea? I help you stop being such a slob. And you don't eat me. Not really a fair exchange, but what has the world ever been fair? So what do you think of our deal? No. I'm not a fixer-upper. What we got here? What we got here?
Yeah. As a little berry, everyone but me. I'm so close to completing my plan.
Right. This is the world. Evil, nasty one. And then this is the one that we did marry. No. Yep. Trying to see if there's any left. Well, might as well finish his dialogue.
I want to do so much. I'm destined for much more than this. I hold more power in my malevolent peel than you do in your entire body. Do you not understand that on your hand you hold the mighty banana lord? I'm destined to conquer all of the known world and beyond. I've spent years preparing, and now I'm nearly ready. I'll not allow you to fail my plans. Put me down. Now. Alright, listen. I know when I'm in a tough spot. Why don't we rule together? Oh, has that piqued your interest? If you don't eat me, we can rule the world together, side by side. I can see it now, the world on fire, people worshipping us in fear. And us, on top of the bodies of our enemies, no one can best us. It's so perfect, it's almost romantic. Who am I kidding? It's the most romantic thing ever! I think you'd fit the role of evil ruler perfectly. How is your evil laugh? Every evil ruler must have one. I could use some work. Worry not, darling. I can help you with that. Just as you can help me fulfill my plans by not eating me. So, what do you say to my offer?
Oh yeah. So I think I've exhausted that game. I think we got like half an hour. I don't have something to fill time with like horse bando. So I'll give it a look. Let's see if I can discover something else. These are the only two that I had planned. Actually, I'll show you. There's the pages on itch.io. And then for bookSLEEPer. So, I guess... I wonder what's in related games. Ooh. Ooh. Smooching. Dating sim. Oh. I know this one. This is the Grunkle Stan dating sim. Released a month ago, but updated yesterday. How about half an hour? That sounds like me. Let's do it. Oh yeah, there's tons of dating sims out on itch.io, but like whether or not they describe themselves accurately or list their playtimes reasonably, like because there's a lot of game jams and whatnot on itch as well. So you'll get projects that have been like a 24-hour project or a week or a month.
or our full game releases. It's just like all up in the air. The stream after this is Crapshoot, right? That's at like 1. I don't have to rush out the door if this goes slightly over to noon, right? Tell me I'm correct. But don't lie to me. Thank you, Lurbot. Alright. Just extracting the game. I'm not buying WinRAR. Alright, extraction complete. Loading her up. We're gonna see about full screen in this, babe. Preferences. Full screen. Onward and upward. Looks like there might be music. Who knows? Blink effects, rollback, about. Okay. It's made with RenPy. Yeah. That's quite nice. An animation. Ah, good old road trips, full of promise and ripe with potential for adventure, soul-searching, and incredible scenery. I should update the overlay. Or the Twitch. Can't even remember what this game's called. This is the Grunkle dating sim. Swooning over stands. Or at least that's what you thought before the novelty wore thin. As of now, your legs are cramping up, you've exhausted your travel playlist 2 times over, and your stomach is begging for something to eat. On top of it all, you're pretty sure you're lost. Driving through Oregon paints a picture of trees, trees and more trees, especially on the endless winding roads that you're taking up north. All that breaks the pattern is a sign that zips past with words you're able to make out. Gravity Falls. The road continues on, giant redwoods looming on both sides. You find yourself anticipating something, because as you drive on, you can feel it. Something strange is bound to happen here. Something weird. And that's when it happens. Your car picks up speed. The change came out of nowhere, and you quickly put your foot down on the brakes, but horrifyingly, the car seems to be driving of its own willpower. Trying to stay calm despite the panic welling in your chest, you pull the emergency brake, only to find that the car resists and keeps moving forward, like something is pulling it. The car begins to rattle, the wheels screech against the country road, and you're screaming until... crash! Mystery shop? There's smoke. Why is there smoke? You cough, fumble for the door, and manage to undo the lock just before the door is wrenched outward from your grasp. Something lands on your shoulder. A hand. Are you alright? A man stands at your open car door. His hand on your shoulder leaves to tilt your head up, and he pulls a flashlight from his coat, shining it into your eyes. 2 blinks, he lets your chin go. His eyes dart over the rest of you, looking for injuries. Still stunned as all you do is watch. Don't know if I can do a grunkle voice. What does Stanford sound like? What's your name? My name is Regular Person. And I'm just gonna use my name again. Cori Aster. Where's she? Coriander, I'm Stanford Pines, Ford for short. I would shake your hand, but you look shaken up enough as it is. You seem fine as far as I can tell, but you shouldn't head back out there anytime soon. Where on earth were you driving in such a hurry? You open your mouth to explain when a voice calls from inside the house. Poindexter. It's hard to, go like the back of the throat and then drop it down. What's cool kind of behind me is like the mystery shop eye, and then when it's Ford, it's the hand from the journals. Poindexter, this better not be one of your experiments again. I've had this place rebuilt too many times to. The owner of the Vice walks out of the house and stops, slack-jawed, at the side of your car and the side of, you're guessing, his house. You must have hit your head earlier because you could swear you're seeing double. Sweet Moses, Ford, you've done it this time. What? This had nothing to do with me. I was testing my magnet gun and must have pulled this victim of circumstance into the house. I suppose it's entirely my fault. I'm incredibly sorry. Cry. A tear streaks down your cheek before you know you're crying. Both men look intensely uncomfortable, but Ford reaches out to give you a hesitant pat on the shoulder. Hey, look. It's fine, all right? Sure, there's a dent in the hood of the shack's signage and a crack in the windshield, but that looks like an ominous triangle, but I'm sure she'll still run. You try to start the car, it sputters, but ultimately nothing happens. You feel like crying again. Oh. Well, let's call a tow truck for this unfortunate soul here and forget. I'll take care of it. You're right. It's cheaper to tow yourself. Sixer, get that magnet gun out of here. Now, Stanley, I'm gonna fix this. What? Huh? You? Fix this mess? I figured out a few alien vehicles in my time. Nah, you kidding me? It'll take some sort of miracle worker to bring this baby back to life, and this miracle worker is on vacation. Stanley, a moment. Ford and Stanley turn away and you're left to your thoughts. Who could anticipate a car accident like this in the middle of a road trip? You can take care of the car, but how are you going to get home? They run buses out here, right? So you take a bus out of here and then... Ford clears his throat, shifting a little awkwardly in place. Seems like they finished their talk. So there are a few options. My brother Stanley here could drive you out to town to find a place to stay for the night. Or you could stay the night here. We have some maps and information you could look at the gift shop, and in the morning we can help you with your car. What do you say? Just as you're about to answer, another high-pitched voice comes from inside the house. Grunkle Stan! Picture this! A whole week of... Oh my gosh! I'm no Christian at all. The girl runs out of the house, comes to a halt inside of your car. Oh, great. Grunkle Ford? Why is it everyone automatically thinks that I'm at fault? Well, this time it is my fault, but I've invited Coriander here to stay with us for the night, if she'd like. I'm sure I can fix this. I just have to figure out how. Stanley sighs. I can take a look. Yeah, being on vacation's pretty boring. The old Stanmobile hasn't needed a tune-up yet, so it wouldn't be too bad to work on something in the meantime. Thank you, Stanley. I'm sure I can put together something in the gadgets I have laying around here, if you need any specialized tools to help you with the job. Let me introduce myself. I'm Mabel. You can ask me anything. I pretty much know everything there is to know about this place. Wait, hold on. I haven't even said anything yet. I appreciate your offer to let me stay. And to repair your car. Yeah, it'll be as good as new in my hands. I mean, look at the Stanmobile. She's been through the ringer. Who knows how many times, still a beaut. Points at a red car parked in the distance away. You can't really see how beautiful it is at this distance, but he sounds really confident. Now, this turn of events is fortuitous. Free repairs, free lodging. There's no better deal to be found, and if things don't work out, the town probably has some sort of auto repair shop you can head to instead. Well, I accept. Thanks for your help. And my apologies again. What an embarrassment. Must have made such an elementary mistake. As the Pines lead you inside the house, Mabel leaves her number on your phone for you to call whenever. And you can find out Ford's twin goes by Stan. This part of the house, but just outside back door is the Mystery Shack. Hey, you ever been to the Mystery Shack before? I wanted to, actually. I saw a bumper sticker while I was on the road and got curious. You're interrupted by a loud, "Ha!" Those bumper stickers were a good investment, and Sixer says they're too plain and graphically simplistic. And don't even have an address on them. Stanley, how is anyone supposed to find the place to attract customers? Sixer, did you hear that? Well, they are graphically simplistic. I don't know how she found the place, let alone thought what is the mystery shack was compelling. I kind of like it. See? Ha! She kind of likes it. Hey, I like you, Coriander. How about I give you a tour sometime? Tomorrow. Regular price. Tomorrow? Then I'll have to squeeze all my get-to-know-you questions today. Coriander, tell me. Capybara, yes or no? At that moment, a boy passes in the hallway at the far doorway, and Ford calls out to him. Dipper, my boy. I'm surprised I didn't see you run out of the scene of the crime. Crime? What crime? I have an alibi, I swear. Oh, you have someone with you. Haha, I'm not suspicious at all. Did you guys see that car on the side of the shack, though? For a second, I thought the Manitars were back with a grudge. Ah, yes, about that Dipper, me Coriander. I have, stranded her car here by accident. the bleep bloop at that moment was great. Thank you for the 100 bits. Awesome. As your shock. Ah, yes, about that Dipper, me Coriander. Stranded her car here by accident. She's staying here for the time being. Sorry? Stranded her car here? You crashed it? Yeah! And the shack fell on everything, and the windows are cracked. One window, the windshield. Coriander was lucky to make it out alive. She's fine, no injuries thankfully. The magnet gun's rather safe despite never having been tested in a formal setting. Yeesh. Did you not, like, take safety precautions or anything? Actually, the irony of the situation was that I was trying to install a safety precaution. Hey, if you two are gonna do your nerd talk, I'm gonna get Coriander set up. Mabel, sweetie, why don't you show Coriander around? Let her stay in the storage room. That's still empty, right? I'll make it empty. The rest of the day consists of Mabel showing you the storage room you'll be staying in, then the kitchen, and the living room, and the hallway, and the bathroom, and pretty much a comprehensive tour of the mundanities of a regular house. Eventually you find out that the family is even more extended than you knew. The decorative doilies make a lot of sense knowing a grandmother normally lives here, and her grandson, Zeus. Or was it Zeus? Whatever the name. You look forward to meeting him when he comes to work in the morning. When you go up to the attic, Mabel opens the door to reveal Dipper, nose stuck in his book, but you catch him occasionally glancing up at you as he pretends to read. The next member of the family snorts up to you from Mabel's bed, a rotund pink pig, who Mabel declares is her best friend and partner in crime, Waddles. The two are a perfect match, right down to the chubby cheeks and boopable noses. And Starduskle, subscribed for 8 months in a row, mystery dating at the Mystery Shack. And in the evening, though you'd still been in disbelief of the state of your car, the family dinner and after dinner TV marathon you've been invited to made it seem like a normal guest stay rather than forced circumstances. Returning to the storage room Mabel had shown you earlier, you find an air mattress waiting for you and more pillows and sheets than a summer night warrants. You wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming through the small, high window in the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature, or any hotel or motel room for that matter, and then yesterday comes crashing back at you. It's got souvenirs and cursed artifacts. You glance at the time to see you've slept in the afternoon. Experiencing the accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Despite having been assured yesterday evening that you were free to anything in the fridge, you still feel like you're imposing on the Pines family, and try preparing as polite a guest breakfast as you can. You wash your dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit the kitchen, you bump into Ford. Oh, excuse. Oh yes, you're from yesterday, of course. For a good solid minute, Ford regards you in awkward silence. Ford clears his throat. I believe Stanley's taking care of your car outside if you want to be there for it. You give a nod and make to leave for real this time when Ford speaks up again. And Coriander, I'm sorry again for the accident. If I'd been smarter about, well, let's just say it's entirely my fault. You shouldn't have to worry about this at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley doesn't have a knack for cars. I predict you'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks. Weeks. You can hardly keep the dismay off your face, and can't really bring yourself to try to either. What am I gonna do with weeks?
Ford, who's gone kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can answer.
Well, there's a town to tour, of course. And the Mystery Shack. But if you ask me, that pales in comparison to... Hold on, do you hear that?
Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate.
Sounds like...
Sound comes again. This time you hear it as well. The squeal of a pig, followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddles tumbles past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into view soon after, a few sheets of paper clutched in hand. Ford steps quickly out of the kitchen, and you follow to the doorway, getting there just in time to see the apparent tug-of-war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips, and nearly toppling backwards in her effort, Mabel recovers, snatching the scrap of ripped paper from Waddles' jaws, and lifting both pieces victoriously. Ha ha! Mabel wins again! Now I just gotta find Grunkle Ford! Ford, who'd run forward and held a hand out to steady this energetic child when she'd been in danger of toppling over, now finds a number of crumpled sheets of paper shoved into his hands. Mabel tugs urgently at his coat. Grunkle Ford, you have to help me! Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious, though concerned look. This is not an official game, no. Sorry, nerves of jello.
Slow down, Mabel. What's the problem?
Dipper found a stack of pages from your old journals, and I walked in and Waddles ran up and started eating one of them. And he must have been chewing on it to warn me, Grunkle Ford, because look! Mabel takes the ripped halves of paper back from Ford's hand and joins them together, holding up for Ford to see.
I see. And you took it as a warning.
Yes, it says here that it eats small dogs, and Waddles is a small pig, but he sort of looks like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have feared for his life. Waddles seems to second this notion with a snort, or not, as it seems the pig is lounging adorably a short distance away in the hallway. You can't imagine what this dangerous predator could be. Some kind of wolf? Something bigger? You're suddenly not too keen in staying anymore. Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Waddles was so scared that time. I can't let him leave my side. Pterodactyl? You suppose pigs are allowed in museums around here?
How about we finish that repellent I never got around to completing? That'll keep Waddles safe from harm.
Mabel flops down on the floor in relief. Grunkle Ford, you are an actual lifesaver. Waddles, you have nothing to fear. Ford chuckles, lifting himself out of the kneel and standing back up.
Alright, I'll go get my recipe.
Ford turns to leave, and you suddenly remember that with nothing better to do for weeks, you're going to be here. It wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know what there is to do around town anyway, and you'll need to do that to not die of boredom in the first week. Or, more pressingly, you could go check out on your car and see what Stan's made of it so far. You're not exactly eager to face seeing your car on the side of the house again, though. I'm gonna get to know Ford. Ford, wait! Need a hand with that recipe?
I can handle it myself.
Are you sure you couldn't use a hand? Ford looks away, and then you follow his averted line of sight to Mabel, who's just mouthed something you couldn't catch. When she catches you looking her way, Mabel gives you a 100-watt smile, the picture of innocence. Ford rubs the back of his neck.
Yes, I suppose I can accept some help.
With that assured that Ford is on the task, you spot Mabel rolling away with Waddles into the living room. Before we get started, I suppose I should give you an introduction.
Coriander, tell me, do you believe in the supernatural?
I want to believe.
Well, you're about to come face to face with the unexplainable yourself. You see, Gravity Falls isn't some quiet, unassuming backwater town. Much more lurks below its surface.
Ford pockets the crumpled journal papers and gestures for you to join him as he walks. You do, and follow him through the living room and into the gift shop.
For example, you must have heard Mabel mention a pterodactyl. Most would say none exist in the living world today, but I say, not if you know where to look.
If anyone else told you this, you'd be disinclined to believe them, but the authority Ford carries is surprisingly compelling. Ford reaches under the cashier counter and retrieves a package of vintage-looking gum, inspecting it for a moment before slipping it into his pocket. He looks around in thought.
Hold on to my explanation for the moment. I need to retrieve some more supplies.
Ford ushers you out of the gift shop entrance so you find yourself on the outside of the shack, then shuts the door behind you. Okay. Respect the man's privacy. You correctly and politely just stand there until Ford returns. You maybe scan the sky for a pterodactyl while you wait. Not too long later, the door opens behind you and Ford joins you outside looking no different than before. He must have stored whatever supplies he went to retrieve in his coat, but the trench coat falls too naturally in his figure for him to be hiding much.
Where were we? Oh yeah.
Ford pulls out a pen and pad and paper from his coat, walking as he writes. Just as you're about to head out, he stops and smacks his hand to his face.
Oh shoot, 1 second.
Ford hurries back to the house, realizing he forgot one important component of this adventure, a butterfly net. Before you get the chance to ask, he strides out ahead of you, obviously in no mind to tell you what it's for quite yet. The pair of you walk past the shack and down a well-worn path into the trees surrounding the house, sunlight peeking between the pines. He double-checks whatever he scribbled onto a paper and tucks it back into one of his coat's seemingly infinite pockets. He stops and turns to face you with a definitive nod.
My recipe for repellent calls for a sprig of lavender, 2 thin slices of ginseng, a drop of bat blood, a chunk of amber, 3.5 milliliters of ink.
He pauses, staring down at the path and thought.
Obviously, I already have all those components on hand, all except for one last ingredient, a single moth's wing. From Mothman itself.
You can't help it, you gasp. Ford glances at you, and you think you see a hint of a smile before he turns back to the path and continues along, wind ruffling through his hair.
You see, Mothman is the very creature on that page that Waddles seems to fear. Using a piece of itself should ward it away, or at least to lead it to believe that Waddles isn't for eating. I would have already completed the repellent years ago if I'd managed to collect that wing.
Was it too difficult?
Oh, I just never got around to it. Besides, Mothman used to come to bat at this lamp I had lit outside the backyard. It seemed like such an innocent hobby that I'd never had the heart to chase it off. But if this brings Mabel and her pig peace of mind, then the time has come to finish it.
Sunlight filters in through the trees, causing dappled shadows to fall across Ford's coat as he leads in front of you. I'll wait for him to speak. Ooh, how do I know so much about this stuff? Asking a question of Ford's good, but also letting him speak on his own terms is good. I'm gonna think patience is better. Ford glances back at you.
You know, for Gravity Falls, locals' encounters with strange creatures like Mothman are commonplace. I have to admit, I'm looking forward to seeing what tourists will think of the true oddities of this town.
How do you know so much about this stuff?
I study anomalies. Anything unusual, strange, and just plain weird. I began my research in this town because it was and remains a hotbed of paranormal activity. I made this exact trip years ago, though at the time I had no idea where I was going. It was just dumb luck that I managed to tail Mothman back to its cave from my backyard. Navigating the forest by moonlight is poetic, but not advisable. I made plenty of other discoveries as well, from fairies to gnomes to amalgams of creatures who were never meant to cross, so... wait! Ford reaches into his pocket and pulls out a slightly crumpled pages Mabel had pushed into his hand earlier, smoothing them out and shuffling through them. Take a look at these. They're more definitive proof than just my words. You accept the pages from him and find that they're scanned pages from some sort of journal, just as you'd heard Mabel say. Fluid cursive tells of Mothman, beard cubs, scampfires, and more. Ford gestures to them and explains. I've detailed my discoveries in a series of research journals. The remaining pages, at least. I wonder where Stanley is keeping these.
You drew these.
Yes, of course. Who else?
I love your line work. Ooh, but the ink washes. Line work.
My work now is far better, but I appreciate the compliment.
Despite his understated word, Ford looks surprisingly pleased. Were any of these creatures ever dangerous?
Oh, extremely. Some are worse. Dangerously annoying.
Though Ford seems to find his own comment amusing, he doesn't fail to notice you're at ease.
I do have weapons in case things escalate, so no need to worry.
You brought weapons?
Not many. I have my stun gun, my fists, and my sharp wit.
Fickle Muse, this is Swooning Over Stands. So, Anti-Crepuscular, this is Swooning Over Stands. I'm gonna walk in silence. Suddenly, Ford puts up an arm in caution, slowing his pace. You narrowly manage not to collide into him, and take a quick glance around to see nothing. Look, there! You see what looks like a bundled up plaid shirt moving along the forest floor. Wait, is that a beaver's tail? It looks like a platypus! And what are you doing all the way over here? Don't you mean platypus? Ford shakes his head with a grin. I meant what I said. It's a plaid platypus. A platypus. Ford moves into a crouch, but stays at a respectable distance, following the small creature. You watch him, and after a moment, mimic his actions. Ford giving the creature a bright smile, the first of its kind you've ever seen since leaving Mabel at the shack. You're a cute one, aren't you? And one of my favorite patterns, too. Ford motions for you to move forward a little more, to the distance he's maintaining. If I were to rate the oddities that live in this forest on a scale of least to most annoying, these guys would get immunity. They have done nothing wrong, and I appreciate them for it. As the two of you watch in quiet appreciation, the platypus ambles into the underbrush and vanishes from view. What a cute little guy. The two of you continue deeper into the forest. The foliage seems denser now, and you look through the treetops for a glimpse of the sun, which has by now dropped low in the sky. It had already been getting late when you left, but you hadn't thought Mothman would be this far out. Almost as though he'd read your mind, Ford answers you. Mothman is rather reclusive, and as such lives deeper in the forest than bolder creatures like the gnomes. Are you alright? Huh? That is, are you tired at all? I should have asked sooner. It's just been a long time since I've traveled with anyone new. Stanley, tends to speak his mind without me asking. I'm tired, that was a long walk. I understand, we can rest here until sunset. Is this what you do for fun? Saving my niece's pet from possible danger? No, not really. I mean, what about trips like these and your research? They come with certain thrill, and I do enjoy my research. But one of my most favorite pastimes, Dipper tells me it's actually grown quite popular recently, is playing dungeons, dungeons, and more dungeons. I believe Dipper's prepared a campaign he thinks that will really stump me this time. I'm incredibly excited. The moment the sun touches the horizon through the gaps of the treetops, Ford gestures for the two of you to continue. You hadn't noticed, but you'd been resting within short distance of a small clearing that holds a cylindrical stone marking. The stone marker bears intricate swirls carved into its surface. Ford reaches into his coat and produces a packet of gum from earlier, opening it and dumping a piece out into his palm. Gum? Thanks. Unsure of why you came all the way out here to unwrap gum at sunset, you accepted a stick of gum. Ford puts the remaining gum in his coat breast pocket. He unwraps the now empty gum packet to reveal that it was hiding a small piece of parchment folded up to act as lining. He smooths it against the stone, holding it under the deep orange-red light of the sunset. You step closer to look over Ford's shoulder. The parchment holds a detailed drawing of the swirls carved into the stone, documenting every crack in the surface. As you watch, a golden cursive unfolds itself across the page, seemingly fueled by the sunset's warm light. Ford reads the words as they appear. Such a place a Mothman doth rest, but please do not disturb his nest. If kindness be something thou bereft. Ford lifts the parchment a little higher to prevent his shadow from obscuring the rest of the line. Follow the nature and turn left. I think we turn left. Wait, no. We turn right. Something tells me that's not right. Okay, left. I think so, Coriander. Press onward. Left leads you to a dimly lit cave, which Ford says he remembers well, except last time he was here it was pitch black since he arrived in the middle of the night. From its depths you hear a faint sound of dripping water echoing off the cave's shadow-shrouded walls. You slow as your eyes attempt to adjust to the low light. Ford pauses in front of you, reaching into his coat for something.
Hold on, I have a flashlight in here somewhere. This cave has never received much natural light, you see, and,
He rummages further and you see a couple dice, a pad of paper from earlier, and a quill. He has some custom pocket work going on in there, too. But you bet one of its coat's inner pockets has a pen protector in it.
Here we are, at last. Allow me to... Darn, out of batteries.
Wait, I think I have one. You pull out your phone and turn on its flashlight. The light is small, but it does the job.
Huh, you saved our hides here, Coriander. I was about to pull out a matchbook.
With your light guiding the way, you and Ford move further into the cave, which yawns wide around you. It isn't until the sliver of natural light from the entrance disappears that Ford speaks again.
It's been years since I've been down here. Decades even, at this point. But I'll always remember the eye bats as one of my first discoveries when I arrived at Gravity Falls.
How did you find them in the first place?
One got into my house, you see. I was making breakfast one morning and one managed to find my cereal box. When I poured my cereal into the bowl, it came fluttering out, agitated, like it belonged there. The nerve!
He still sounds so indignant, even years later, that you laugh.
I wanted to contain it for further study, but unfortunately it managed to get away. As I thought about it afterwards, its pupil had constricted against the light, unfamiliar with the bright light in the kitchen. So either it's nocturnal, or... It lives in the deepest, darkest cave in Gravity Falls. Found them easily after that.
Did you manage to catch one?
Somewhat. Came running through this cave with a butterfly net and my wits. Brought a working flashlight at that time. They all hid in the dark corners. Once I turned the flashlight off, they flocked to me. Caught 18 of them that day, when it reminded me of the stealth uses of...
The rapid sound of clicking claws against stone startles you, a shiver running down your spine.
The dark.
You turn off your light. Ford taps your shoulder and gestures for you to keep moving forward. Eventually, the narrow passage widens into a large room. The darkness shrouds the source of the dripping water from view, but your eyes adjust. You squint to see the strange winged shadow. A shadow with eyes that glow red in your darkness like rubies. Your breath catches in your throat as the realization comes over you. Ford is apparently fairly close to you in this room. You find when he speaks a few inches from your shoulder. You catch the shadow of his arm swing out in a wide arc, like he's introducing you to...
Coriander, I'd like you to meet... the Mothman.
He whispers, but even in the dark you see him grinning excitedly at you. Ford looks between you and the Mothman, apparently hoping for a dramatic reaction. Your speechlessness seems to satisfy him.
Don't worry, it hasn't noticed us yet. Here's the plan. You make contact with the Mothman, and I...
He pulls out a butterfly net and a large lidded jar. And where did that one come from within his coat of mysteries is lost to you?
We'll capture one of the 100 moths that comprise it.
Wait, I get to touch the Mothman? The Mothman?
Yes, it turns into 100 black witch moths. It's like experiencing a swarm of locusts. Surprising when you're not expecting it. Remember, even just a light touch is enough.
You steel yourself, awaiting Ford's signal. He waves his hands to coax you forward, and then it's up to you to decide how to, well, make contact. I'm gonna stealth. Sneak, sneak, sneak. You tiptoe towards the Mothman, remembering Ford's comment on the dark and trying to channel your inner stealth skills. Of course, that's the moment your phone decides to start blasting Taking Over Midnight by @Sandra. You're confused before remembering that Mabel added her number to your contacts and must have made that her custom ringtone. Mothman turns to the noise and screeches, but before you can barrel into it, the creature explodes into 100 moths, fluttering around you, getting stuck in your shirt and skittering around your face, surrounding you in mothy hell. Your task complete, Ford rushes into the large swarm of moths, waving the butterfly net with a few unsuccessful swipes. He tries swatting the more aggressive ones away, but there are too many. I'm gonna use the phone's light to attract them towards you and away from Ford. You grab your phone and quickly switch the light on, running to Ford's side and holding it up high. You even attempt to call them over despite knowing they don't respond to sound. Before long, they all crowd around the phone. The sight of light flickering and reflecting off so many small wings would be somewhat captivating if you hadn't just been in the midst of them. Ford puts the butterfly net back away in a jar, and jar in hand carefully scoops one of the moths up.
Well, that could have gone better. But we've succeeded nonetheless.
As Ford pockets the jar, you turn off the light. With no sound, no threat to focus in on, the cloud disperses. That was amazing! Ford laughs, brushing dust and dirt off his trench coat.
You could say that. Our completed repellent is within sight. Let's head back.
Ford turns to leave the cave. He looks calm and content. You, on the other hand, are buzzing with energy under an adrenaline rush. Should you go in for a high five?
Ah, should I high five?
I mean, I want a high five. Yeah, let's high five. You raise your hand in universally understood offer of a high five. Ford pauses, then grins, high-fiving you, or rather, 6. When you and Ford finally reach the cave entrance, you find the forest you'd left in the dying light is now awash with a silvery glow. A gap between the leaves overhead provides a view of the night sky, along with a long string of stars. A few more steps and the Milky Way comes into view, looking as if it tear across the fabric of the sky. Ford notices you looking.
See something? The pterodactyl doesn't usually come out this late, but being a prehistoric creature, its behavior is rather unpredictable.
I've never seen the Milky Way in person. I've never seen the Milky Way in person before. It looks amazing.
Isn't it? It's remarkable what you can see without light pollution from the city. Here on the outskirts of town, you can see a good portion of the Milky Way every night.
He gazes up into the night sky.
Whole year has passed, and it still feels strange to see a sky I recognize.
What?
Oh, traveling. You know, I was in a different part of the world.
You both stare up at the sky in comfortable silence for a few moments. The quiet of the forest settles in, along with the distant sound of flowing water. You find yourself surprisingly glad that Ford had accidentally pulled you here, if this was one of the moments you get to experience. Out of the corner of your eye, you start to see Ford looking at you instead of up. But when you tilt your head back down, his attention is elsewhere. Eventually, the two of you come to a wordless mutual agreement to continue on, and you're walking again. You'll have to show me the other creatures that live here sometime. You're glad you said so when you look over and find that Ford looks pleasantly surprised to hear it. His chest puffs out with pride.
Of course. Maybe we'll go spot to hide behind, or tag along with Dipper when he visits the next multi-bear.
The what? Ford taps his temple, grinning.
You have to wait until I show you to find out.
I'm holding you to that.
We have some time left before we get back, if you're up for another walk.
You must make a face because Ford looks back at you and laughs.
We're not far, I promise. I just thought I might answer a few of your questions if you have any.
I do have questions. You must stay in great shape if you do this all day.
Ha! You know, actually, this sort of thing isn't part of my exercise regime.
Ford turns left at the stone marker towards the sound of the river, and sure enough, after a while it comes into view. The moonlight illuminates the water as you walk along it. After following the river quite a while, the shoreline expands into a small round lake at the center of a clearing. Overhanging it is a large flat rock, the kind that could be used as a less than effective diving board in times of emergency. The emergency being that one just had to jump into the lake. However, neither you nor Ford really looks in the direction of the diving board. He leads you towards the edge of the lake, where a relatively flat boulder could substitute for a bench, and the two of you take a seat. I'll wait. Ford looks across the lake in thought.
Coriander, I have to admit, I didn't want to take you with me earlier today. I thought I'd be walking myself into an uncomfortable social situation.
So did you, to be honest.
And you did well out there. Not many tourists could handle that kind of task that we just completed. This had the potential to have gone disastrously. I mean, a butterfly net against Mothman, easily a 3% success rate.
Sometimes the more Ford speaks, the less reassured you feel until all that's left is a distant unease. You smile and nod anyways. The two of you sit in another moment of quiet. Night air pleasantly chill around you until Ford breaks it again.
We should head back now. I'm sure Mabel will want to hear we've been successful.
You stand and give Ford a hand up from the makeshift bench. Ford leads
takes the lead again, and soon you're no longer able to catch sight of the lake when you glance back. Ford gradually adjusts his pace to yours, walking side by side with you in companionable silence all the way back to the shack. Almost there. You recognize from the incredibly flashy signs touting phrases like Mystery Shack this way and Sasquatch to your left that you are extremely close to arriving back at the shack. As you and Ford leave the tree line, you see the bright lights shining on the porch. You make out the faint outline of the kids' shadows as they run through the house and emerge in the attic window. Mabel pushes it open, leaning out. Gurgle Ford! Finally! You took so long, I had to cover waddles and macaroni. Why would you do that? I have my reasons. Did you get the thing? Yes, and I'm coming inside so we can stop shouting. Coriander, come along, we've got a pigs to save. Ford strides into the shack, a man on a mission. You grin and follow, but not before taking one last look at the night sky. Yeah, maybe your stay won't be too bad after all. Back inside the shack, the grand conclusion to your expedition to the Mothman's cave is spritzing Mabel's pig with a newly finished deterrent until the poor piglet reeks of lavender. You see Mabel and Dipper head up to bed, looking sleepier than usual as a result. Something about lavender is so soothing to the senses that you crash out fairly soon afterwards, face first in your makeshift bed. Ooh. Well, I think I'm going to actually save and call this done. Maybe someday in the future I will continue, but for now I believe we are finished with Now Kiss for today. So thank you all for hanging out. Stick around for the crap shoot later. I believe it's a writing episode. I believe that's all I have to say. Have a good day. Have a happy Friday. Any of you that are at work, I hope things go well. So, see ya.